Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Did they chips reset, or will they? Do they have them all in?
They should. You might still be on one as they're adding players. I hope. No, they should go.
I don't know. I've never sat on this side before.
You on this side?
I don't care. Just
Doesn't matter to me.
should be the same, right?
Should. Make fun of people that don't jam. Nits.
Oh my God! Last time I did this, Dennis and a couple other players that played like him were at the same table. It's hard to talk about fold.
Yeah, just dead air.
Suppose we're live, aren't we?
Little. Oh, yeah.
See if everything's working. My headset is.
Test, test, test.
We're good. We're live. We got 8 viewers out there that got to listen to our little conversation there.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Minute away.
So our table of 9 players has 8 friends cumulatively.
Maybe I can't hear you.
Hit. Is that plain?
What do you mean playing?
Not on this screen, it's not.
That's our introduction that you should hit about 30 seconds on.
Okay.
Looks like we got Heidi sitting down to deal.
All right, there we go.
Now can you hear yourself?
I can. All right, we're here for the Friday Flip and Go tournament. Thanks for the viewers so far.
I can hear you guys.
All right, we're here for the Friday Flip and Go tournament. Thanks for the viewers so far. All right, this is the final table. So I think they were at like almost 200 entries of $50. So
190 entries.
yeah. Oh yeah.
18 tables, 17 players advanced, 2 double stacked.
190,000 in play in terms of chips. 501,000 when we start here.
Kind of unique playing a final table with blinds that low. Anybody that doesn't know, flip and go is basically everybody's all in first hand. You're all in blind. Everybody, you deal the cards out, flip them over, or run the board out, and then I guess everybody kind of flipped them out, had a lot of fun with it. And see who holds up. Sometimes second pair won, other times, I saw at least one time a full house wasn't good.
Yeah. Flop straight, turned full house, rivered bigger full house. Paul got the benefit of that one.
I was actually playing this. I think I was first or second to bust, but I flopped the wheel and it held. And then I ran my 2 pair into a set of kings, so that's why I'm not playing anymore.
Same here. I busted on the bubble, final table bubble, 10th. This is Josh, partner Eric here, commentating for the final table.
Lost to a royal flush.
All right, looks like the chip stacks are updated.
Tim Jacobs just entered the booth. Said he lost to a royal flush, but I'm not doing foreshadowing because anybody that's played poker with Tim knows he doesn't want to flip and go.
And not on this table.
He was playing the free roll.
I think that Tom was one of the two double stacks.
And he flopped a set of kings against me and got most of my chips.
This is true. Those of you in chat, go ahead and, those of you viewing, go ahead and chat. Some conversation is nice. Gives us something to talk about.
Tell us who your horse is, who you're rooting for. We know the dealer's hoping for the 5 seat.
He's going to have to run his stack up. He's the short stack coming in. What, 7 bigs?
I'm actually not familiar with about half of this table. I mean, I recognize a couple of the guys. I know a couple of these guys. I recognize a couple of them from being at some tournaments, and a couple of them I don't know that I've ever actually seen before.
Interesting. Especially for a Friday night off regular tournament, I guess.
That's we had the usual party crowd, shall we call them?
DJs.
Do you know how to change the banner at the bottom? Just see it.
I don't know how to use the banner at the bottom.
All right, looks like we got first hand. Action is live.
That'll make this a whole lot easier, something to actually talk about. Lots of action. Lots and lots of action.
I think the drinks are about half full right now, Matt. Scrolling at the bottom, that it is the championship free for all. If you see that again, we'd said that this is the Friday night flip and go tournament. About 2,000, just a little over 2,000 for first, 190 for ninth place for the next person out.
Yeah, we don't know how to.
Yeah, I just saw. How do you do it?
Yeah. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, they notice it right away. We just don't know. They don't know how to. Yeah, it's fine. Nobody looks at that.
I went 2 places at once.
You're not out of it here. Where's that spoiler alert?
I want a break. I was told I had to say I want a break.
Chris folds 9-8 of diamonds, right? Interesting.
We had a player at this table just enter the booth. Apparently, he's taking his own private break, is what the story is. I don't think I'm buying that. I'm going to call that bluff. But
I believe him. He looks.
There's Tom there. I think he was
Giants chip stack.
button ace-9 off.
First time lost to a royal flush. I'm okay with that. You guys aren't getting the Facebook chat up there, huh?
So tomorrow we have a tag team tournament where you both play the first 4 hours.
Yep.
Eight,
yep.
I believe that's 8 levels, and then you merge your stacks and you take turns playing, and however you would like. You both have to play at least one hand per hour.
Yeah. You start with 2 separate stacks, and then merge them after that 4 hours.
I believe the plan is to basically have a group A of tables and group B, and at least for the first little while, you will not be merged to your partner's table. I don't know if he's hoping to keep that through the whole thing, or if he's going to break tables in a natural way and just let what happens happen.
So we have under the gun raise with ace 10. We got ace jack. We got
Is it
for the flop?
Is it evil for me to hope for 2 aces on this flop?
Maybe.
But it makes better television.
Yeah. I got to get to know the players a little bit.
Christian seat 1. He's one of them that I don't know that I've ever seen. Do you know Christian at all?
No. And played with Craig a bit ago. I'm not familiar with Craig either. Played decently, so earned himself a final table seat.
We don't get to a final table like this without knowing how to play a flip and go.
I think the fun part about the flip and go is all the action, side action. Red black flops, another seat versus another seat, side bets. Brought out obviously a new crowd.
It did. It was actually, I talked to Steve quite regularly during the week, and he was quite concerned about what our numbers would be like tonight. And I think this exceeded even his wildest expectations. So thanks to all the players that came out. I'm sure with this result, we'll be running this again.
Yeah, I think they ran, it must have been 6 or 7 flips before like 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes when it started.
Oh, we got ace king against queens. Nothing interesting can happen with those kind of hands.
It's like a min click back, open to 3K, so blinds are 500, 1,000.
And Jacob wakes up with ace jack. Yeah, Jacob will fold that. Ace jack of diamonds, Jacob's going to get away from up to a 3-bet. Josh just got paid for his finish. That'll probably slow Christian down.
Yeah, Todd was, he brought me short. We had a flush over flush hand with 10 left, so.
I do like the check back on when you hit the ace. See if the queens will decide to bet.
Wow. Very good check back. I mean, bets a flop, he probably doesn't get that.
Right. As long as he avoids the queen on the river, it's going to work out well for him. Yep.
Good game to Christian. First out, $190. You could play up to 6 of the flip and goes earlier, so $50 a crack.
So at 190, we have no idea if he's profitable tonight or not.
I will say I was not. How about you?
I successfully cashed $100 and I was not profitable. I got through on my first one and decided I would, try twice more for a double stack because I'm smart like that.
Yeah. I went 5. I went through on my first, and then 5 blanks.
You got through on your first one also?
Yep.
That is a good portion of us got through on our first try.
Yep. And then I think Tom, he was a double stack. He busted the first 4, and then hit number 5 and 6 for a double stack.
I didn't get here right away. Tom was already in when I got here, so I obviously missed the first 6. I can't believe how many people were done with 6 before I got here, around the time I got here. Todd picks up pocket 4s. Confusing to me because seat 9 is in use now, and we're playing 9-handed. We just don't use seat 7 because the reader there is bad. 4s against ace queen. Hard to fold that for 2,700, isn't it?
Yeah. Easy get in. Not the ideal flop or the turn.
That was
G
oh.
John.
and the queen comes on the river, but no good. Case 4 came on the turn.
Ouch. You weren't lying, John. You were taking a real break.
Yep, John was on a real break, not a fake break. Yeah, what are you gonna do there, John?
Absolutely nothing. Can't fold.
Sitting on the short stack, you got ace queen. They're all going in. You hope he doesn't hit the case. That was the case 4. Did you realize that?
No.
Somebody folded 7-4. That was the case 4.
Just bad
One
luck.
card in the deck.
Todd has definitely put himself in a overwhelming chip lead with almost 60 bigs, 60,000, 58,000.
So you guys can't hear John, but John, did you get through on your first try too?
I did get through on my first try.
John answers in the affirmative. Were
So-
you smart enough to stop there? Or did you fire more bullets like a couple of geniuses sitting here?
I fired one more bullet.
He also fired more bullets.
Profit.
Yeah. Yeah, he got paid, what, 200? One,
When that, oh yeah.
because he was over the 190.
Take
That
a
was
look.
like 220, I think.
I think he got 220. After the tip, he doubled his money.
247.
Perfect.
Unless he short paid you. Next note is 304.
304, that puts everybody into a theoretical profit, although probably not with dealer add-ons. There might be somebody here that... There's probably one player here that fired 6 bullets, huh? I think you said Tom did.
Chris McGurk.
Chris McGurk did?
He got in 1 bullet, or he won 1 on his 6th try.
He lost once with a full house.
That he did.
Did not choose the wicker either, did it?
King 9 of clubs look like a monster compared to some of the hands I've been watching fold.
Yeah.
And what happened?
You still have to flip it after 8 minutes, right?
I assume so.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay.
Todd is a card rack to start the table. Put a 3 and just called. Interesting.
Ooh. That flop right there is the problem with calling with ace king.
Trying to find that.
Todd checks. Chris bets 5,000. Craig with a gut shot that really isn't very good if Todd comes along. Or running flush draw. Seems to be pondering.
So Chris bet 5K in the flop with 5K, both 5.6 back. Probably, I mean, I don't know. Todd slow plays ace king in the small blind. I guess he's not getting terrible price.
Oh, Craig hits one of the clubs he needs.
Craig would have been sad if he hit that jack, huh?
Yep, that's. I don't see how they're going to fold now for 5.6K with after they just called 5 because the pot just got that much bigger. mean, Craig's hand improved. Todd's didn't get worse.
Oh, it looks like he snapped it. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're calling with king nine of clubs and the fourth club hits, you have to call, don't you?
And the fist pump.
Club got there. After the flop, significantly the worst hand wins. What a game we play.
So we got, 6 left.
6 left. The blinds are 5 and 1,000.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
Last year's free roll champion just walked into the booth.
Goes from 304 to 380 for 6th. Still 501,000. Gonna get pretty deep, 4 or 5 handed here. If it keeps going like this. Couple ace folds.
Is that a walk? If I have Jack 8 offsuit in the big blind, I'm perfectly content to get a walk. And if I got 7 deuce offsuit in a small blind, I'm perfectly content to let the big blind have a walk.
As Tom was saying, what's your dog's name? Take him for a walk.
Oh. Craig with the big 5-3 of diamonds.
And another walk. All right.
Till I just stop dealing walks, it's not really that much fun to talk about.
So is Cash his name, 2-seat?
I played with him briefly last week, and that was the first time I'd seen him. Seemed like a pretty solid player. I would say careful. That's probably what I'd describe him as. I didn't see him splashing in a lot of pots. He was generally shorter stacked, which is how those players usually are.
Jacob made the final table of the free roll, right? You're in free roll, if I remember. Maybe not. Maybe it was another feature table.
Jacob he plays a lot of events, and he's a very solid player.
Be
Very
mistaken.
very careful player. He's one of those
This is so Tom, right? He's usually pretty snug. He opens 5-2 out of the small blind.
Oh.
Interesting. Of course, got to check, right?
Yep. Here's the thing: he hits that 5, but Jacob's not going to lose any chips to him with that.
That's the river. Oh.
Yeah, Jacob won't even call this. Jacob is, in my experience, generally tough to get chips from. As is Tom, for that matter. Sat and played with Jacob for several hours last weekend. 3-4 hours, I suppose.
That was a tournament in Walcott.
Walcott.
Who ended up winning that? You, right?
Yep, that
Yeah,
was
of
actually me.
course.
Yep. I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was a canned question or if you actually didn't know. Yeah, it's one of those days where you feel like you're playing good and the cards are hitting you. I only had one hand I got my aces all in against jacks pre-flop and lost. But other than that, every hand all day held, and this game is a whole lot of fun when you can play like that.
Yeah. When you have some chips and you go into the final table and it's just down to the last 9, right? This is a decent final table too. We had a bunch of regulars.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Brandon Schmidt was sitting 2 to my left. He was our season 2 champ, season 1 champ. I can't remember even. Season 1. Matt Wolf was season 2. So he's our season 1 champ. 2 or 3 to his left was Nick Ingolfsland,
Yep.
really solid player.
Won a few of these already.
Yep. Has results in these to show that he's a good player. I actually knocked both of them out myself with ace-10 against king-queen for both of them.
Oh. The 60-40s were going your way, right?
I think Nick, I just flopped an ace. We got it in pre-flop, and I flopped an ace. Against Brandon, we got him in pre-flop. He flopped a queen. I think the flop came queen, jack, rig, and I went 8-9 turn river.
Nice. Dirty.
Nice and dirty, but as I told you can't complain. We got it in pre-flop. I get all 5 cards then.
Should probably get some play started here with low stack only being 13, 14 blinds and 30, 40, 50 big stacks. So as Craig opened, right? King Jack.
Let's go check. Bottom pair is good, but I don't think anybody's going to trust their bottom pair here.
Oh no, looks like Jacob opened the button.
Ooh,
Whoa.
that's a gross card for Jacob.
It was a really good C-bet. It's unfortunate that he ran into it.
I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be hard to extract value from Jacob here.
It's got to be complete air. 5, 6 of spades.
Pretty sure he was done with the hand about the time he got called if the C-bet, wasn't he?
Yep. Six left, 380 for the next person out. Dennis, if you're listening and you're chatting, I do not see it.
Click the multi-stream.
Oh,
Hey, now we got a whole lot of chat. We had apologies. We had it set to YouTube only instead of multi-stream.
yeah. It's like there's a lot of chatting.
Tim Jacobs says the commentary could be better, but, you know, he doesn't know much, so. Oh, I forgot Dennis C. was at that final table last weekend, too.
Yeah, but we were talking about good players.
I will have you know that I saw Dennis lose an all-in hand, and he still had chips left. He said that never happened at a final table to him before.
So must have got to open from Craig on the button. Yeah, nothing on the flop.
These guys are playing a very straightforward poker. I think we need to move Kramer to this table.
There's a free roll going on it, so if you did not make it through into the cashing into the flip and go spot, you get 5,000 per time entry into a free roll, and that's going on at the same time here.
Oh, Dennis says I remember that hand wrong. I had king queen against Nick, and he had ace 10. That maybe is right. So I had that hand backwards. I knew it was ace king against king queen both, ace 10 against king queen both hands. But all that matters is I went 2-0, Dennis.
I think we answered the question, but Dominic asked about flip and go. And so it's 10 players start. Everybody puts $50 in. No chips. Everybody gets dealt one hand. They deal a flop, turn, and river. At the end, whoever's the winner moves on. If in the event that there's a tie, they'd play another hand until there is one winner. Looks like the hand's done. Just a quick pop in for our sponsors. Of course, 701 can't happen without them.
Certainly the future table cannot.
All right, looks like, not sure, it must have been a couple hands ago. Went up to 1,200 as the big blind.
There are no big blind Andes in this.
Yeah, each person that moved on to into the actual money had 10,000 starting stack. If you qualified twice, you had 20,000. Might be Chris's first hand he won.
What's he sporting for a card protector today?
Captain America, I believe.
Captain America bobblehead would seem accurate. He's always got an interesting card protector. I generally just use a chip because I can't plan that far ahead.
I would just forget to put it on anyway. Have we had Dennis commentating before?
I don't know if I have or not. I've not listened if he was I believe he was commentating in Leroy's tournament, championship week in the Saturday night. I think he was in here at the end. We got ace queen against kings. If you got pocket kings and you're gonna get called, you really hope it's by ace queen and ace queen,
I think so. But
or
one
pocket
of them
threes.
Oh, Chris.
Has Cash played a hand at this table yet? Oh. Chris has got ace queen of hearts.
One heart. Get a sweat. Oh,
There's
two hearts. Look, black. Oh. Nice hand. Cash. Unlucky. Chris.
I don't know if Chris and Cash have ever played together, so I don't know if Chris really knows Cash. Ace queen's hard to get away from that spot no matter what. Ace queen suited.
Yeah. There's just 12 blinds.
After playing with Cash for a little bit last weekend, I would have been. I'm not saying I'd have folded, but I would have been not comfortable with that call either. Just like I said, he sat there I sat and played with him for a long time last weekend, and he sat and did a whole lot of folding and had good cards every time I saw him in the hand. Dennis says he did an excellent job when he was commentating. Never know Dennis to lie. Did you see that suit Dennis was wearing?
I did.
I'm sorry.
It's I don't know, kind of blended into the carpet a bit. He earlier we're
It was camouflage.
we're talking about side bets for the earlier flip and go. Oh, it looks like Chris is all in for the fives. I'll pause the story. Dennis will probably love hearing it. Survived so far. King 4. Oh, and the 9. GG Chris down to 5-handed. It's $380. So speaking of the side bets, we were talking flops, the color, who won what, and anything. I gave Dennis 4-1 because Dennis said, this hand I will get 2 pair. And I said, okay, all right, I'll give you 4-1. And of course, he accepted the bet. But then he thought that he was going to get, if he got a flush, he'd win. But that wasn't the bet, right?
Right.
He had Jack 3. The flop came 10, Jack, Queen. Turn was a queen, and the river was a deuce. So he somehow got his 2 pair.
Must be fun to roll like Dennis.
Yep.
Cash with 10-3. He's not going to play that. 8-7. Jacob's got King Jack. That I would expect to get a raise out of from the button.
Yeah, it comes in at 30 and 20-ish bigs, so open makes sense.
If you raise with King Jack, you definitely like Jack 8 with the call. Oh, that's just Broadway.
That happened to him on the opposite side earlier, right to Craig. Craig turned it.
Yep.
Can you check back once and see a 9 river?
Not with the 10 already paired. You can't risk 2 pair coming on board, can you?
Sure. That's true.
That's
Didn't get the TV turn.
the 9 on the turn would have been right up Jacob's alley.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. So obviously tonight's the Friday night tournament. Tomorrow there is, what time is it? Must be like noon start.
Noon or 1 start.
Yeah, and that's a tag team, right?
150 buy-in. You play your own stack. You can rebuy. Your partner does not have to rebuy. You basically are buying your own stack. You don't have to show up at the same time, but you do have to name your partner when you show up.
They are also one of our sponsors, right? Ambitiously Lazy is adding a 1,000 World Series of Poker tag team seat. So random draw, right? So as long as you enter with a teammate.
As long as you enter with a teammate, you are registered for that. I really like that you're doing random draw because you don't even have to be good at poker to win it. So often something like that goes to the winner or something like that, but this is just pure dumb luck.
Randomness, right? And then, you add the winner's already getting dollars, right? So
Right.
it's nice anyone on the field.
Right. If it was free, it would definitely be nice to give that to the winner, but like you said, the winner's already getting paid. We got a gut shot against top pair with a crappy kicker.
Sort of a min bet.
Although if I got a pair of 7s, I'm not really worried about my kicker. I'm also sitting in the commentary booth rather than playing at this table.
Not last week though, right?
Not last week. $35, that should get it done. Yep.
So 5 left. We're out all the way up to 475, so guaranteed profit no matter what.
Unless he's had to go sit at a Survivor, which I don't know if they got him. I know Steve's willing to run him, but I don't know if we got anybody playing him or not. You're Johnny on the spot with that refresh so we don't hit leg.
It's like an internal 8-minute clock.
Usually it's right as a big hand starts and for me, and all of a sudden we're legging. I'm like, do Do we risk it or do we just go with it?
Craig finds a hand. Looks like he's got stacks of chips, lots of blacks. Clean flop. Oh, interesting. Tom leads. A semi-clean board. And check, quick. And quick.
Pocket sevens take it down.
Does the chat have a favorite? Who do we think is going to win?
I don't know. I know my wife is listening. I don't know if my kids are. Gus, Kemmer, if you guys are, here's a shout out. Another shout out to YouTube for you guys. Go to bed. It's past your bedtime.
Is that going to do the trick?
Yeah, as far as I'm going to bed, no. But they were pretty excited last time I gave them a shout out when they were watching, so it didn't cost me a cent. Craig with the 9-3 suited. I'm guessing that goes in the muck. Kind of feels to me like if one player started raising aggressively, it might work.
I agree. Still probably in just like kind of short stack mode. Because for the most part of the first 2 hours, we felt pretty short. Again, we started with 10,000. Blinds went 100 and 100 to start, but it's 20 minutes, so it goes by pretty quick.
Everybody trying to figure out what's going on. Like, I'm guessing there's a fair number of players here that don't know each other. You got to build a certain comfort level.
Whoa.
Nobody ever gets paid on that flop.
I think I'm probably betting it with a pair, right? Cash.
Might as well figure out where you're at.
Yeah.
Like I said, last weekend he just played really careful. I'm not familiar with him. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it does it on the turn, which is good, but I mean, I think a flop that makes sense.
So three-handed, you literally risked 4 cards, right?
Yeah.
One of them's going to catch you 30% of the time or so.
You bet the flop, then you just. Oh, I suppose you can get a check back on the river. Bet in the turn. Chat is a Tom bandwagon. Kind of guessed like hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes we'd see this table done. What do you think? We're at what? 25 minutes or so? Or no, maybe.
Well, we're 49 minutes into live stream, but I think that includes the 10-minute leg period, right?
Yeah. So yeah, and then we just went to 1.6, so it must be 40 minutes in.
So left at this table, we have Jacob and Tom, and the other 3 I'm at most marginally familiar with. Which
With the 2 double stacks, there's probably 4 blues in play.
yeah, I think so. Doesn't look like they've colored anything up. Would appear Cash has 1. Tom has 2, and I think Jacob has 1, huh?
Yep. Tom has not let his go.
No, he had them from the start, and I'm guessing he's had the same 2 the whole time.
Yep. Probably whoever bets first takes it down. Looks like Craig did.
Why is it when you commentate, it seems like whoever bets first takes down, I don't know, a third to half of all hands, and when you try it, it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? I think just seeing some of the hands so far, I think I'm going to go Craig. I think Craig's going to take it down. Who's your horse?
He certainly picked up the chips. You know, it doesn't seem wise to take the short stack, but I feel like Jacob's going to at some point just turn the gears on, turn the accelerator on, and I don't know. Tom's awful tough when he's got some chips. Like I said, I don't know Craig at all. He's certainly doing well at this table.
Yeah.
I don't know what he had to start with, but he's easily the chip leader now.
Yeah, it was that King 9 of clubs hand, right? Just floating the flop with a backdoor and a gutter. Jacob keeps getting 8-3. It's not much he can do, right?
No, it's
I think, like you said, right? It just takes somebody to be a little bit aggressive, and maybe Craig's going to do that.
so far he's certainly shown the most willingness to. That's not a great flop for Tom.
I think Tom thinks this is a bit fishy. Not
can't-
they can do anything with it.
But yeah, he's not beating anything though.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you think it's fishy, you're gonna call with king high with no ace on board.
Yeah, and then a lot of hands Craig has some draws, right?
Well, that's, I mean, you saw the percentages there. Tom actually had the better hand at the moment, but Craig was 70% to win or 68% to win, whatever it was. Got Heidi Rogenkamp in the chat. If anybody wants to run into her, they can stop out for breakfast tomorrow at Randy's Diner or Randy's Diner 2. She may or may not be working. Pretty good breakfast, though. Hard to beat the coffee cake. Do you fold 8-7 of clubs right there?
Yeah, 12 bigs out. You got to preserve that stack. 14 maybe. I'm calling. I think Jacob did right there. It's one of the hands, right? It looks nice. You want to play it.
Yep.
30, 40 bigs. You're not folding,
Right.
but I think you did right.
Tom picked up ace-10 off suit from the button.
Must open.
Never sad to see that.
What do you want? Open to 4? Yeah, probably still not calling king 6. Maybe suited. Are you gonna be here, Eric, tomorrow?
I am. I'm actually playing poker with Steve Madsen's wife, Sarah.
Oh. Coffee Cake around in the chat.
Heidi, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of me or seen me in person, but yeah, judging by my size, yes, I like coffee cake.
Think I'm probably jamming first open, but aggression is good.
Jamming the
11 bigs. And you just
oh
opened it.
yeah, yep, gotcha. I looked right as the small blind cards folded, and you said jam. I'm like,
Oh yeah, no.
no, I don't want to. I'm not trying to see a flop with.
Yeah.
Although the way they're playing,
Somebody jams over there. Are you folding? Leaving yourself a 7.
what's the probability of getting 3-bet at this table?
It's true.
I mean,
But
you can literally c-bet and probably still have chips left at this table. I mean,
that's true. Just one big. just
Like-
just throw the one big, but big blind C bet.
yeah, if I'm the short stack, I'm jamming with 8-6 off there.
Yeah, I think over the last few weeks that the tournament tomorrow, it seems like it's going to get a pretty good turnout. A lot of people are interested in partnering up and the format, and I know they did it at Hooligans or in West Fargo at one point, and I think that everybody had a great time there. So I can't imagine it's going to be anything different tomorrow.
You know, I've played multiple formats of tag teams. The only one I don't really like is where you just start out with one stack and you take turns for that at the beginning.
Yeah,
I've played.
just an A and a B, and you just
Right.
keep flip flopping. Yeah.
I actually played one where you Omaha and Hold'em, you switch back and forth up in Hope, North Dakota. I don't know, 10, 12 years ago.
Oh.
That was a lot of fun. Of course, I believe we won the Omaha portion and chopped the Hold'em portion. So, winning money usually makes anything fun.
Yeah. You have a good impression out of it. So Craig opened with the deuces there, and then C bet after 2 checks. I mean, made a lot of sense. And again, it goes back to the aggression. A little bit separating himself a little bit gives him some playability. Almost 70K. You know, next is 40K, so it's almost doubling up second.
It's getting hard to believe anybody's going to run him down. As I watch that, just the more aggression is usually going to win something like this.
Yeah, if I remember right, the tournament I'm thinking about in Hooligans, Dennis actually took first and second with our main man, Brian Murphy. Shout out to him if he's listening.
Oh, now your chip leader just picked up kings after raising with deuces.
Yeah, so everybody's already seeing a lot of aggression, like, you can't believe this, right? Just if somebody has a hand. No, doesn't look like it.
I actually like him showing there just to say, hey.
Yeah, Dennis, I think that was the A-B stack, but I think you, if I remember right, you took first and second, right?
Pretty sure my wife is still listening. I know Steve Madsen was hoping that my wife and I would be partners in the tournament tomorrow because he thought it would be a whole lot of fun for me to be playing and her to be in the commentary booth with me on the feature table.
Are they doing feature tomorrow?
I believe that's the plan. I don't think we'd have set up just for tonight. It's not the fastest, easiest thing ever to set up, believe it or not.
Oh, we get a flop here. So Tom called the Jack 10 off, and then Jacob raised the King 9 of spades with 13, 14 bigs. Good flop for him.
Do you check this back or do you bet it?
I think you got to bet.
That's
King
That's what I
Jack,
w-
King Queen. You probably maybe check back, but I think King 9 is
that's
you got to bet.
2 clubs out there. I certainly don't want to see one more club come because now if he bets at it, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
And-
like the Queen of Clubs, right? Then
Yep.
for sure Tom's going to continue, and then you're kind of confused.
And now cash is our short stack. We got Todd sitting over there in the 9 seat. He hasn't done anything, and he was fairly active right at the start. He hasn't done anything in quite a while now.
Yeah, he had the Ace King to Queens. Really ramped his stack up and kind of allowed him to lay back here a bit.
Folds Queen 5 suited under the gun. I don't mind that fold. Cash folds Ace 3.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think you mentioned earlier that the table's being a bit passive. That Ace 3 doesn't necessarily have to be a open or a jam. Probably gets through, but
Right. It's really hard if you're sitting in Tom's seat because the big chip stack's your big blind, right?
Yep.
It's hard to push into that big stack.
see, that was a little bit different. I think Jacob there betting the small blind, open 2.5, 3x. I think you can get away from it a little bit there. But again, right, your pick there is ramping up the aggression himself.
Cash picks up Ace 9. He's going to raise.
Oh,
7.5. He's got just over 10.
Snap fold.
Is that pocket fives that just snap folded?
Yeah, Tom snap full of those fives.
Tom has picked up on the same information I have. And
Oh,
Tom's just not interested in losing chips right now either.
yeah. Yeah, he is in that kind of second, third range. So,
Got Ace 9 against Ace 9. I like the position in this spot.
oh, nice.
Position doesn't matter. Nobody's going away.
I do not mind the lead.
Open ended. You flop open ended.
Yeah.
Into,
Backdoor diamonds.
into a guy that you know can fold. Doesn't fold. That's a fun turn card. It helped nobody, but now it's hard to bet. Now if cash bets like he should.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think in Todd's shoes, I'm probably continuing there. Cash probably shows some aggression with spades probably on the flop.
He's certainly going to believe you enough of the time to make it worth betting there.
Yeah.
Cash, you win if you bet, buddy. You win if you bet. Chop it up.
Smiles around. Just quick pump for the sponsors on the screen. Perfect time on a chop pot, right?
Yep. Takes Heidi a few seconds to chop that pot up. I think Todd's sitting there pondering himself why he didn't continuation.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Well, especially like you said, right, with the way Cash is kind of playing a bit snug. You put the bet on the turn. You're probably not calling with an open ended, 3 spades.
No, because you certainly don't trust 2 of those outs, right?
Yeah,
Your
for
eight,
sure.
Your 8 outs just became 6.
Yep.
Tom's got pocket 7s. Did that just happen?
Under the gun.
5-handed under the gun. Jacob raises with King Jack suited.
You think this play? I mean, obviously Jacob takes us down with the King Jack there, but I mean, Tom does something with sevens there. I mean, what are you doing with Jack? In Jacob's shoes with King Jack, what are you doing?
What I'm doing and what Jacob doing, I don't think are the same thing. I don't know. Tom's not played a lot of hands. I might get away from King Jack there. Five-handed King Jack's a pretty good hand.
It
King
is.
Jack suited. I mean, it's
But with Tom opening, right?
right. I can't say for certain what I would do.
Sure.
I'm not sitting in that seat right now.
Yeah.
I don't think Jacob would have called him.
No, I don't. I agree, right? So you open another gun with sevens. I probably think he takes it down, but obviously we see the cards.
Right. Like I said, Tom's just proven to me right now he's not really interested in losing chips at this point in a tournament. I don't know if he's uncomfortable with somebody right behind him or he's an incredibly solid player. So
Yeah.
there's
And again, right, Craig's been pretty aggressive, so maybe that's playing into it.
now he's raising with Jack 3 suited. He's picking on cash a little bit. He's going to bet cash is going to fold. I mean, that's come over top of him, cash. Yep, that's. So I find when I play that, if I watch his back, I learn some things. It is, and I'm not saying Cash has made a bad play, but I think if he watches this back, he's going to be like, oh, I really should have maybe.
Been aggressive from the start, right?
Yep. You know, and just not been scared every time somebody bet.
Yep.
Craig in the 6th seat with King 10 under the gun. I don't see him doing anything at this point, but. Oh, wait. Nope. 6th seat, not 9th seat. Sorry. 6th seat's going to raise. Yep. Todd in 7th, and the 9th seat's going to fold. There's 2,400 in a pot every hand right now.
Yeah, just maybe a minute or two away from going to 2K big blind. Parkour.
I don't know if there's a basketball tournament or a hockey tournament in town this weekend, but if you're hearing background noise, there are some young men having a good time. Ace Jack of diamonds. That's hard to get away from any time, isn't it?
Yeah. Easy open.
Probably picks up 2,400 chips for opening, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
The double Jack 4. Yeah, Chuck Kiedis in the chat. Seems to be some hockey in town. They are flying around, just not on ice.
They're having fun. That's what you're supposed to do when you're a teenager, right?
Looks like they updated the 701 flip and go at the bottom. Again, for any new joiners, this is a flip and go tournament on our Friday night. Tomorrow there's a tag team tournament. If you don't have a partner, find one.
If you're thinking about coming out tonight in Dent, you missed actually a lot of fun. I didn't really know what to expect when I pulled into the parking lot, but it was substantially more fun. Not even being in one, just watching.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with the bomb pump tournament that, I don't know, several weeks ago, right? Like, it's nice to play a different variation.
Yep, for sure.
Some blind versus blind action. Craig led with the kind of air Todd called with top pair. I don't think he's getting away from it on the turn, but Craig definitely improved to open-ended. Still right blind, first blind. I don't think Todd can fold. Still not on this river.
Todd needs to not be able to fold, but we'll see. It's hard when somebody fires 3 bullets, isn't it?
See, I think you got to size this up. I think it's got to be more like 12 to 15. The 6 to 7 that it looks like here, 8. I don't think that's going to get a fold.
No, it looks like he's not really even pondering it.
Yeah.
I don't know if even 12 to 14 would have worked.
Yeah, that's true.
The way he counted those chips, it looked to me like he'd already decided on the, if an ace doesn't come, I'm calling.
Yep. Around that 195, right? That's what you said earlier?
190 entries, Chuck.
Oh, yeah, 190. Yep.
190 on the nose. I know that because I bought in the 190th spot just to fill that last one up. I shouldn't have. Should save the $50. Oh, well.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, I think the most memorable of the flip and goes was Paul had queens. McGurk had 9-7. Kramer had Jack 10, and the flop was 9-8-7. Turn was a 9. River was a queen. Straight, first full house. It's pretty crazy.
And we actually exposed none of those hands pre-flop, correct?
No. I think Paul had just flipped over 1 queen. Yeah, there was a variation. Some people flipped them up right away. A couple people after the flop, or one pre-flop. Some people looked at them right away. You know, there's a variation. So Jacob got up to, opening with, again, right, a little bit of aggression and got the king 7 through.
Yep, of these players, I think Jacob's the one that's probably the most, in my experience, capable. But I don't know. I don't know Craig or Todd. I think Jacob's capable of opening up his range a little bit and getting more aggressive. But he has not entirely yet. He's starting to. I think he's starting to feel it a little bit.
It looks like this hand, it went up to 2K blinds.
Yep, 1 and 2. 4-7 diamonds is really hard to raise with.
Yeah, and with that, the queen 4 to kind of Craig bluff, 3-barrel bluff, Todd takes the chip lead.
Todd's just sitting there accumulating chips.
That is true, Craig. I forgot that Paul had showed up after work, immediately bought in, won the queen's hand, and then won the very next hand afterwards. So
He won that on a board that read King Jack, I don't remember.
Oh, that's right.
With a Jack 4, Jack 8. The other card was not paid. He flipped over the Jack first. He never needed the second card.
Yep. All 9 people. Second pair.
Wins the first one. He literally needs pocket queens, or I think queen 9 to win.
Yep.
And gets the queens. And the next one, a pair of Jacks wins. It was so much fun. Like,
Yep. Yeah, it was 2 hours, right? I mean, you could have shown up at 5:30 or 6:15 or whatever, and you got plenty. It's like Cash finds a all in with queen 10 off.
I think I showed up at 5:25, 5:30, and I think I was the 7th person in, and I won on my first one. Played that ace-3 masterfully on a 2-4-5 flop. 2-4-5 flop came. 2-4-5 came on the flop, and I looked at Pete. I'm like, I win. Those are the kind of cards I play.
I think I mentioned, so we're 5-handed here, 475 for the next person to get knocked out. Again, we have just slightly over $2,028 for first place here. 20-minute blinds, so we just went up to 2K. So it'll be our third level on the stream.
Cash just folded pocket twos with 7.5 big blinds.
Cut off. Yeah, probably ripping that. Stigma of the 7 deuce.
Is there anything from the tables?
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
No, not a thing.
That's what I thought. I tried to fix it. I don't know where it is. Either you need a break, let me know.
Okay. Looks like we're playing with the bottom half of a pinochle deck until we get to Craig this time. Josh laughs, so I know he plays pinochle.
Yep. My wife and when her family taught me, didn't know it until, I don't know, when I met her 10 years ago.
It's a fun game.
We played pitch for quite some time. Do you know that game?
I'm not familiar, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just a quick trick taking game. Partners.
Todd called the pre-flop bet with 5-6 of diamonds. That is one of the, not that that's a loose call by any stretch of the imagination, but that is one of the more loose calls we've seen at this table.
Yeah. Outside of the king nine of clubs, right?
Right. Which got paid.
Yeah.
Not judging at all for calling with that. I think I would have called with that. It's interesting the hands that get played at times and don't get played at times.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of unplayable hands too, don't get me wrong.
Kind of gets to this spot. Still semi-deep, 30 bigs. Of course, cash is on the short stack, but 15 bigs per Jacob. Even though he's definitely kind of kept in it just by some well-timed aggression.
That's. I'm sure
it's
you
got to go in.
I'm sure you've got a couple players that are just that way for you, but there's just a few players that are really tough for me to play against. And I got Jacob's chips last week, and that's probably the first time ever.
Sure. It looks like. Turn sweat.
That
Big
is
turn
the
sweat.
Grossest turn card possible for cash.
Oh, and then even max sweat.
Literally the worst possible card came on the turn for cash.
Yeah. I just thought Craig kind of turned over. I didn't see that she hadn't flipped it completely over yet.
And what do we know now? Cash got chips again.
Yep.
Sit there and wait and wait and wait.
Timing.
It just puts so much stress on those hands that do when they do come, because you have to win them then.
Yep.
Tom, who's been incredibly careful, is actually in severe danger of becoming the short stack.
Yep.
We don't. I don't know how accurate those chip counts are. The bets are hand entered. They do their very best to get them right, but mistakes happen.
Yeah. Seems roughly. And cash obviously just doubled there from, 7 blinds to 15 blinds, and then Jacob had been opening a bit, so and then just Craig and Todd were tossing back and forth. So yeah, I kind of lost in the storm. He's just about short stack.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 of them that are all kind of right there, right? I mean, 29.9 up to 30.6 is that they're all the same. It doesn't really. Yeah, I mean, Cash is about in his hand, so Jacob's the shortest of the 3. But
I wonder, is it 3K next, or they go 24 for blinds?
normally 12.24.
Take the blacks off, and there won't be many chips right there on the table.
Everybody will look short stacked.
Yeah.
Chuck, where were you tonight? That should have been right up your alley, a flip and go. I don't know if you're still in the chat or still hanging around or not, but
Gearing up for tomorrow. Don't think he said he was playing tomorrow.
hey, Chuck, I also was it your stepdaughter that you were telling me was you had videos up of her singing? She is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and then speaking of tomorrow, right? Chuck being one of the owners of Ambitiously Lazy. Again, like I mentioned earlier, right? 1K World Series of Poker random draw to whoever enters. Seed out into the World Series of Poker. I'm sure, right? So there's a large portion of our player pool that hasn't been able to play that. So.
Chuck, go ahead and put the Facebook or whatever you need to get to that link. Put the link on there so people can go check it out. It's well worth the listen, guys.
Kind of setting up for probably 2 big hands, right? So somebody's got to get probably a decent pair, and somebody's going to get something else that they're willing to call.
We've been at this for an hour and a quarter, and we haven't had that big aces against kings or queens against jacks or anything like that in hand yet. I wish I could say that was foreshadowing, but we have no inside knowledge either. Cash with ace-9 suited. What does he do here? Standard raise. 2.5 times.
Good start.
What would you need to call that? You've watched him. If you're sitting at this table, you've watched him.
Jacks is probably a good start.
Jacks might do it. Jacks might do it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't expect Cash to call here. If I have 8s or 9s, I'm in Jacob's spot. I'm probably really considering. I don't know.
Jacks might be the bottom.
Yeah, 10s or jacks.
Tens are hard to get away from too.
Yeah. Especially 5-handed, the way the table's played.
But it's Cash putting chips in. I mean, he's voluntarily put chips in like twice.
Yeah, not too much other than jamming.
Yeah, I mean, he's jammed once. What's he's just raising with? Todd with a Jack-5 offsuit raise into Cash's big blind.
Yeah.
Cash comes along with ace-8 off. Oh, they both caught part of that.
mean, from Todd's position, especially if he's picking up on, kind of Cash's snugness, not putting that bet out there.
What's he calling you with? He's got to have an ace there if he's just flatting, right?
Yeah, that's it, right?
I mean, unless oh.
Yikes.
I don't think you can check to cash. I think you have to bet it. I think you have to bet yourself.
Diamond, and that just is going to scare card. You're right. I mean, you hit that 5, you just bet it.
Yeah, you have to bet it again. You can't. Cash is not going to bet for you.
Maybe Cash thinks that, checking back, or, Todd checking the turn, he doesn't have an ace, so his ace is good. Oh, he did call, I think. Yep.
Oh, was it all in a call, huh?
Yeah, it looks like Todd basically shoved him and put him all in. And Cash called.
Not a ton you can do about that if you're Cash.
No, I mean, I'm probably shoving the turn if I'm Cash, but played out the same.
I think with ace-8, I might have even jammed after the bet on the flop.
Yes, yep, for sure.
And we lost one.
Cash gets 475 of the cash. 4 left. Looking at 4th, paying 645.
170 bump, not bad.
Again, we're playing for 2,000 up top.
What does second pay?
13?
This chops, doesn't it?
What's that?
This is going to chop at least two ways, right?
Yeah, I think Dennis called it earlier. Tom was chopping.
Dennis said that
Yeah.
a long time ago. Yep.
Yeah. Probably, especially with 2,000. I mean, Friday night tournament. I'm guessing. I know I'd heard Jacob's playing. I heard Tom's playing. I'm not sure about Todd. Playing tomorrow, so.
The other thing is, I don't know for certain, but Tom and Jacob could both have a reasonably long drive home tonight, or they could be staying in town. And
I think Tom said he was staying.
that drastically affects your decision, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If you got a long drive home, you kind of want to just get on the road. Whereas if you're staying, Craig is also open for chop discussion. I would say right now, Todd's going to be tough to convince because he's just got everybody else 2-1, right?
Yeah.
Jacob calls with 9-8.
Looks like must be taking a break. I thought I'd saw, but
Blind's going up again.
no, it shouldn't be. Oh yeah. In about 30 seconds.
If we go to 15-3, which we probably do, we must because looks like we're taking the black chips off.
Yeah.
So we go to 15-3.
They must be taking a break just to color. All right, so while they're coloring up, flip over to the sponsor page, and we'll be right back. So they got 3K, so 10, 15 blinds. Yeah, it's just shoving. I mean, I said an hour and 15 minutes, so that's 15 minutes from now. gun. Oh, I gotta hit connect. Looks like it actually delays a bit longer. I think I've been waiting about 12, 13 minutes. Should we go take a look at the free roll real quick?
Yeah, good.
See what it's like.
But the power forward was in that little.
Still away. What do we got here? Whoa, lots of chat. Chuck asking about French toast to Heidi.
show us one earlier though.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah, so Kramer, Nate, Murph, Nick, I, Wise, big group of us going out to the fights on the fairgrounds, railroad going as well. So it's a bummer. I mean, we booked the fights before we even knew the tag team tournament was that day, but a couple tables and stuff. Wise always have a good time, so it's always worth it.
That would be a lot of fun to get up to. Yes.
If you bust early, you got one ticket, and you just come. Obviously, don't be up bust early.
I guess have my wife play in my spot and I can go to the fights. You can deal for a few hours and deal for but
Yeah, it's we're going to rookies at like 5:30, and then figuring out.
also that's reasonably. I could be done by that time. No, not unless Sarah wants to play with me.
This is
She'll play
slow.
tight.
Yeah. So you have to play once an hour.
Yep. Should be interesting because it is reasonably possible that she'll be sitting there playing while I'm sitting here doing commentary.
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. The tournaments or the teams. Go to the bathroom quick since it seems like it's not there.
Probably real soon, huh?
Taking a longer break than
40.
It's weird where some chips. It's like sometimes the chips update early. I know earlier I'd said something about like.
Well, that's we thought cash
Yeah.
busted, and it's done that to me twice where it kind of shows people their chip stack's gone and then they reappear.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'd kind of wait.
Because then McGurk was down like 4,600, and then cash wasn't there anymore.
Right.
You know, so it must have taken a second to count and verify or whatever it is. Now it should just be in the 500. So much easier.
And Craig, does he play quite a few events, or is there somebody that looks just like him?
Craig, I have no idea. It must be somebody that looks like him. I don't know if I remember playing with him much. I played with Todd before. I played with Cash. Is it his name? Or
What he introduced himself last weekend as was Cash.
Maybe. Okay.
He's
I-
just young enough for that to actually be his name.
Yeah, maybe. And then, yeah, I played with Jacob before. Played with Tom before. I sat next to Tom the whole time, so for the first 2 hours or whatever. It'll be interesting to see what Tom does.
That's going to be interesting to see who comes back with a different mentality. I mean, they just all had 10 minutes to go back and kind of reflect, right?
Yeah, yeah. We are back, obviously.
And, I mean, they could have gone even talked to a friend that was watching the live stream. I don't know. I don't know how likely or unlikely that was, but it is
Yeah.
always playing a feature table. I know you've been on here. It changes your play slightly, at least for the first little while.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to get used to it. Yeah, you have a different motion with your cards, a different area that you put your chips. So yeah, for sure.
You can't have a drink at the table, which
And Tom's all in right away.
A7 offsuit. I don't feel like that's a play that would have been made pre-flop, but then it works.
As you see, we are up to 3K blinds. Took the blacks off.
Yep. Price of poker just got very expensive for essentially everybody. Todd's got 20-some big blinds, but even Craig's only got, 14?
Yeah. Yep.
You
And
know?
Todd's definitely protected quite a bit. He could definitely take one shot.
Yep, that's... Tom just raised with A7. He picks up Ace-Jack. Yep, he's going to do it again.
Yeah, and I kind of expect it, right? Like Tom realized he was the short stack, so I mean, you have no other choice but to be aggressive at this point. Take a few blinds, get yourself out of the short stack, and then it changes. He can go around or so.
Yep. And if Tom doesn't play this hand and anybody but Craig wins this hand, Tom will be actually tied for second in chips. I guess unless Jacob takes a bunch off of somebody. But oh wait, I lied. Craig's not. I was thinking Craig was a small blind. Tom is a big blind. Todd is the small blind. So
See, Jim asked about the break. Hopefully, everybody's seeing it. Action is live.
Craig looks down at a couple nickels.
$13 bigs going into the chip leader. I'm probably just shipping it. Looks like he's going to raise, though.
Raised to 9.
I also shipped it in Jack 9 of diamonds into Todd and got called by Ace Jack. So that's what happens.
Works every time until it doesn't, right?
Yep.
You got Tom off of Jack 10 suited.
Interesting.
But I mean, if you're Tom, you're putting in a quarter of your chips. It's a lot of chips to put in.
Yeah. I think kind of in the reverse. If I'm with fives and I open, like, am I really gonna fold it afterwards? Maybe Craig. That's what he decided on. So opening makes sense.
Yeah, you have to decide how many overs need to come or what overs can come before you're not folding. Because it's, if you got fives, unless you hit a 5, overs are definitely coming. I guess you can hope for the miracle 2, 3, 4, right? Ace, king suited.
Helps when you open the previous time and then you get another hand right away, right?
Nothing better than making it, and nobody got anything to do anything with. I mean, it just, there was no ability to be resistant there, even if you wanted to. The other problem with ace king there was under the gun. You don't want ace king. You want to let somebody else have to act first. Actually, at this table, I think big blind might be the spot to wake up with a hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Last act.
Because there hasn't been a ton of, I don't know if there's been any post flop play to really speak of. The king nine of clubs
The ace king you had mentioned earlier, if I remember right, Todd got in, the one seat had queens,
Yep.
and Todd checked back the ace flop. There's really not three streets.
no, there's not. I mean, it's,
There was 190 entries. You'd said 190,000 chips in play. So there's only 60 bigs between the four of them.
wow. Craig actually thought about calling with king seven offsuit. That would definitely be or he was Hollywooding it. I mean, he might have been just playing it up a little bit too.
Hey, you did that earlier with the king nine, right? So there's a call button in there.
Right now, Tom and Jacob are in that mode of just trying to steal enough blinds to stay ahead of the. You don't want to get down into that 4 or 5 big blinds, right?
Yeah.
You're just trying to have some fold equity.
I would expect this is going in.
That's Tom set the standard of jamming, but everybody else has kind of just gone to a small raise, and that's what Tom's going to go with this time.
It's probably the problem with this is you let that hand in.
Let them both in.
Yep. It's like Todd called them in raise, right? 6-2 off.
8, 9, 10, 2 clubs. Craig's not getting away.
No. You just put it in. That's right? Yeah, 20K.
Todd will get away, no problem. Tom's gonna have to go away. Yep.
See, I think shoving that pre, you get it through.
Yep, that's for sure.
But, again, right, we've seen multiple times throughout the table where just opening, that's kind of the strategy Jacob's employing, is just kind of opening. Got some Todd fanship in the chat now, so I think initially we have Tom as chat rooting. I picked Craig. You had mentioned Jacob, so now we kind of have it all well rounded out.
No love for Craig, huh?
Me, yeah,
Oh wait,
yeah,
Yep.
I chose him earlier.
no love for. Cause yeah, we got
Everybody,
chat's now leaning towards Todd. Yep.
Yep.
We got Jacob with the 5s. Oh, that's not good for Jacob. In fact, that's very bad for Jacob.
the one benefit from opening,
Can
it still
he
has eight
get away?
behind, right?
Can he get away? I think he gets away.
Yep.
Jacob, when you watch this back, you can smile. You played that one very well.
Now we have the full circle. We got chat rooting for the dealers as well, Chuck. That makes sense.
I think Chuck's just sucking up, hoping to get a shoulder massage from Heidi tomorrow.
And then who's running the computer?
Leah should be back. I believe it's Leah over there running the computer.
Yeah, usually the unsung hero of all of this.
Yep.
Right there, you won't be able to see the chip counts. You won't be able to see the action if we don't have somebody running the desk. So, as always, the dealer talks to Talks to the individual that's
Yep.
that's manning the computer, and
That's Leah right back there.
Yep.
Looking like her usual bored self. I think it's a long time to sit there and enter the occasional number in there and then click fold, fold, fold a bunch of times.
yeah. I think Chop is going a little bit by the wayside with the disparity in chips right now.
That's if Craig knocks one of them out and the other doubles up through Todd. I think we get a chop very quickly.
3, yeah, that makes sense.
Otherwise, if Todd knocks somebody out, I don't see a chop happening, period. And right now, the ladder steps are so big.
Yeah, we're at 675, I think. Fourth, right? Yeah, 645, up to 882 for third.
I know.
100.
I know that right now, Todd has 2 people cheering for him significantly to win this whole pot.
Absolutely.
And they both hit a 9, both hit middle pair.
And a lead.
Todd's going to come along. We might have that hand we've been waiting for.
We get to 7? Ooh. Ouch. Considering Craig's propensity to bet,
Yep.
just call, right?
I just call. I just
Oh,
flip
yeah.
four.
Just a snap.
If the spade comes, he's got spade. So be it.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, no, makes
now,
sense.
Now, how much do you bet? You got to bet. How much do you bet?
8K. Yeah, I mean, something small.
It looked like he put 7 in, didn't it? Steve's got his head right in the way.
17.
17.
I mean, I don't think he can call half a stack here. That's why I just say, 2 bigs or something like that.
Just begging for a call. I really don't like 17. I'd either 8 or overbet.
Yeah.
Overbet, make it look like I missed my spades. I'm going to try to push you off.
Because it's the river, right? No more cards.
No more cards.
Can't change your hand. You only have what you have.
He just checked you. He's not. You're good. You're good almost every time here. Yep. You let him get away.
Yeah.
I think that 8. I think he's stuck calling.
And then again, right? I think that definitely changes any potential for some sort of chop.
Yeah. Unless they're gonna give Todd a whole bunch of money on top and chop the rest of them or something. But I just don't see a chop happening.
Now, if you're in Todd's shoes, you should be pressing the gas.
If I'm sitting in Todd's shoes, I'm probably just going all in the next 8 hands until somebody calls me. Because they're all putting 10% of their chips in play every time they're the big blind.
Yeah, 4,500.
Yeah, Yep, you got to walk. Literally, you got that chip stack now. I don't even know if I'm looking at my cards. I'm just big old stack of blue chips. Do you want to play for all your chip stacks, or do you want to let somebody else play for theirs first? If you run into a hand, you run into a hand. That's life.
What a turn card for Todd, though.
He was sucking air. Although, the way that hand played out, did he need the 2 pair, or is he going to bet the same on a check? Because
That's a good question.
the turn checks.
He checks back.
He checked.
Checks back the river. I think Todd would check back the river. I mean, but you're right. He could also bet the same amount.
He could have bet the same amount, or I don't know.
It just gives you the confidence, right?
Yep.
Gives you the confidence to bet the river.
It makes it a whole lot easier to bet that river, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that limp in there at all.
Oh yeah, you should have just pressed.
Yep, never give him
And
a
then you
chance to
bet.
push me off.
Because I would assume that Tom's betting or shipping an ace, shipping a king. Can he pull the? He did. I was gonna say I think Tom takes that.
You just gave Tom 6,000 in chips that you didn't have to.
Yikes.
Todd, when you watch this back, that hand, if you don't win this tournament, that hand's gonna bother you.
Yeah.
When you watch this back.
Yeah. So 3-6, just 6K, right? Changes it to 110 to 21.
I just don't see why you're letting anybody see a flop at this point.
Yeah. Again, right? You talked about final table, how it changes, four-handed. You know it's streaming. You have a lot of chips. But you get to see what they had. It's the benefit of the stream.
Yep. Tom's got 10-3. He's going to raise. Jacob. Oh,
Ship it.
this might be good enough for Jacob to ship. He min raised.
Yeah.
Yep. Snap fold, isn't it? This should be an easy fold for Tom, yeah.
Just gave a little bit of that back. So yeah, obviously, I mean, if he doesn't win that previous pot, he's not opening that board, or the small blind there. So I mean, he sort of bought himself that attempt.
Yep.
Jacob just woke up with it, or enough.
An ace, four-handed. An ace is huge.
Yep. Gotta be really close. I don't know when we started back, but it's nearing 4K big blind.
Tom
Easy
with the
shove.
ace nine, easy shove. Oh,
I think this is easy enough to get away
I
from.
think that's one of the best hands Jacob can get away from here. Could be wrong, but I think he folds. Yep. So if I can guess this accurately, what Jacob's going to do every hand, I should be able to play well against him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I should be able to put him on ranges next time I play against him.
So I got 3 people all right around 30K, 25, 30, 30. And then Todd at 100.
So if you're Jacob and Craig, when you watch this back, how annoyed are you with Todd for letting Tom take that hand?
Very. Yeah. I mean, you're probably already annoyed in game, right? When
Right.
you're sitting at the table like, oh my goodness, just win this pot. Easy shove for Tom.
Yep, easy shove, and it gets, I mean, four-handed and ace is huge. I mean, it just,
I'm guessing he only looked at the ace. Just by the reaction afterwards.
yeah, the way he
Which-
picked up those cards.
Yeah.
Second one doesn't even matter. If you got an ace, you're playing.
We were talking about that earlier.
Todd definitely has an active cheering section.
Yeah. You get the chips, you get the fans. I always find so when you're playing the feature tables, it just changes my routine, right? Because you got to put the cards in the box, and then you got to look at them, and they're different, etc. You agree?
Yep, it changes your routine, your rhythm a little bit. you know, I don't think you and I play quite the exact same style, but it makes me fully aware that when people, if I raise with 7-4 suited here, everybody in the world's going to know I raise with 7-4 suited.
Yeah.
And I would say for the first, until you lose the first big pot, that's on your mind.
Yeah.
Once you've lost one big pot, that kind of goes out the window, and you're just playing poker at that point in time. But there's, in the back of your mind is, what's going to happen? And
And if you bluff, right, 10 minutes later, somebody might get a message and, hey, that person bluffed you, and then you got to deal with that. So
I know the first time I played on a feature table, and it was one of the flighted tournaments, and I'd built up a giant chip stack. And we go on break, and Corey Esslinger was back doing commentary. He comes out, and he looks at me. He's like, it's okay to take your foot off the gas once in a while. But I was just on one of those tables that,
sure.
I mean, I think I was raising probably 3 out of every 5 hands.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta win pots, right? You gotta
And
win
that's-
pots to win tournaments, and
And if they're going to let me raise 3 out of 5 pots and put up a little resistance, I'm going to raise 3 out of 5 pots. And that's what I think anybody at this table could have tried to do.
interesting.
King Queen against King Jack.
I kind of thought maybe Jake was gonna just ship it there, but I don't like the call.
They both flop a gutter ball.
You gotta bet this flop.
Todd won't. Oh, yeah.
And at that point, you have a gutter with the backdoor hearts. It looks like it's like 12, 13. He's not going to fold for 21K. Yeah, 14.
I think he's going to fold.
Yeah. Bad spot.
If that 6 had been a 7, give him a double gut shot. Yep, he folds.
So he called. He keeps himself with 21K, and I guess that's not that different than Tom. Don't like it, but I would have preserved the 3-something.
I don't like the call. I can live with the jam.
Yep. It's a little different than earlier where kind of everybody was playing passive, right?
It's definitely livened up a little bit. There's getting to be a little bit.
Yeah, Chuck, we had mentioned that earlier. We'd said that Todd should just be, he shouldn't even be looking at his cards.
Yep. Yeah, if I were Todd, I'd just grab it.
Whenever somebody wins it, I'm going to send them back here. So you can talk to them about the last few hands or whatever. See, it's not.
But yeah. So to finish that, Chuck, I don't even know if I'd be looking at cards. I'd just be grabbing a stack of blue and just putting 35,000 in every just a stack of blue. It's intimidating. I've done it before. It's incredibly effective when you got the chips. Jacob with Queen Jack into Craig's Ace 5 suited. There's a call. That's not a very good flop for Jacob.
Not at all.
Better turn.
10 ball? Nope.
Jacob's done.
It's a good jam. I mean, Queen Jack is perfect. You have 7
you're the
blinds.
short stack. You're the short stack. What are you gonna do?
And it's into another short stack, right? So they got to be paying. They got to understand.
He woke up with an ace. What are you gonna do? I mean, that's
Now it's a little different, Chuck, because you got to kind of weave around Craig since it's about a half your stack. It's going to hurt you. But I mean, I would first Tom. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You got to.
But 2 out of 3 hands, you gotta know what Craig's doing before you have to act. Tom with 7s. That's all the chips.
He folded earlier. I don't think it's going to happen this time.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Craig's-
that was 4th, right?
Yep.
So we're at 3rd is 882.
And we got a call here with Todd with Queen 10.
Yeah, makes sense.
That looks like a face card. I can't see which one, but it's a king.
Jack of diamonds? No.
That's a
Oof,
dirty
Todd,
overcard.
yeah. or Tom's reaction seemed like that was going to be a queen. So, all right, we're heads up.
And all these hours later, Dennis is wrong. 'Cause he folded.
'Cause he folded.
He folded.
'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. 'Cause he folded. He is. He actually he might have messaged me for a side bet. He just lost. So see, even so, we mentioned earlier, flip and goes were side bets all over the place. You know, we haven't done. Our, I thought something was going on. Nope, they're just playing heads up.
Small blind on the button.
So yeah, Tom finished third for 882. So we're 1337 for second. So late for you gamers, right? 1337, 1337. Anyways, first is 2028.
I guess that's supposed to mean something. It's lost on me.
Yeah, gamers, LEET, elite. Yeah. Anyways. So kind of the same thing here. I think Todd can apply a lot of pressure, especially taking Tom out there. You have a 3-ish, a little over 3-ish chip advantage.
And you can lengthen that advantage every single hand.
Yep. Each hand that goes by, you a greater degree of separation.
Yep.
I mean, obviously those percents aren't correct if there's only 2 people. Oh, it's the raised percent. Never
Yeah, it's the
mind.
raised percent.
Sorry, I thought it was chip counts. Like, Dennis probably had to go to bed though.
Past his bedtime.
Chip B going in. So what an open does here, instead of a jam, it allows Todd to call cheaply and see the first 3 cards, right? Like, and he should be calling pretty wide because, I mean, he can continue with, I mean, he's got the chip advantage.
Yep. That's a fairly interesting flop because nobody hit any part of it. Todd picks up a gutter ball.
I like it. I
Craig's
like
still
this.
ahead. Todd gonna bet.
Yeah. I like.
That bet's gonna go through. Todd takes this down.
It's a really good bet.
I like it.
And that's a kind of a little bit of a stop and go, right? Like instead of having to put Craig all in, he can just call and then apply pressure because he's first to act.
Did you see? We can't hear the table talk. The mic's not working over there, but I think Todd just looked at him and said, "You had an ace." What a mind game. I didn't see him reveal what he had, but just kind of you had an ace? Like, really? You played an ace that way?
And like right here, this particular spot, you're like 4-1. If if he's just throwing it in. And he probably gets Craig to fold 8-6. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There was I kind of think back the tournament I won versus Kramer in Hillsborough. I actually, it was late and it was already a long final table. And for kicks, I just said, Kramer, I'm going all in every hand. And I did. Right. And it applies a lot of pressure. You have to decide because my hand's blank and they have to figure out like, is this going to be good enough? And if you have a bad run of cards, you have no chips at the end.
Right. It is. Well, and at this point, Todd's got 151. Craig's got 33. Todd can literally double up and still have a comfortable chip lead. Why not just whittle away?
Yeah. And again, I'm lead. If he leads one big blind, he wins the pot.
Yep.
But it's fine, right? Like, this isn't a great hand.
You're in a big blind, the small blind limped into you. You got 7-3 suited. I agree. I don't mind just checking that one down.
Yeah.
I prefer activity for here from the small blind.
Sure.
I'm never letting him see. I'm never letting his big blind play for free.
Yep. That's why the 10-4. Like I know you look at the screen and you see 10-4 and you look down at the cards on 10-4, but think you could make the decision that you're not looking,
That-
and you're not that bad
that's-
versus a random hand.
That's why I said I don't know if I even look, because
Yep.
it's sometimes easier to put your chips in blind than, oh God, I got 9-3.
Yeah, and this is not getting folded or getting folded.
Right. Goes to 12. Well, if he knew they were sharing a card, oh, that folds. If he knew they were sharing a card, that was a brilliant raise. Try to let him see one, see if he can peel off that 7. Otherwise,
Yeah, it
So-
hasn't been.
they are both doing one of my pet peeves when I deal and play. They're betting their small chips. Just put the big chips out there, guys.
I know.
Just put the big chips out there. Saves the player. It saves the dealer time, which means you guys get to play more hands in the blind level. Just use your big chips.
What about very messy stacks? Even worse, like from a dealer perspective to count them and whatnot.
Not really. 'Cause for me, counting chip stacks is. I dealt blackjack for so many years that counting chips is pretty quick and painless for me. It's literally the. I mean, again, we have 12 orange chips out there when we could have 6 pink chips. I mean,
Yeah, pet peeve. And for sure, they're just tossing the chips back and forth here at this point. But and again, I wouldn't even be looking. I'd be shoving, but I get it.
that's.
Probably a call. Yeah. So you get it through, right? Shove. It's over.
Any raise takes us down from either player.
Yep.
He limped into your big blind. You bet at him. Now I
Yeah.
bet it's going to take it down.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, it's
But if it goes king 10-4, right? Todd's gonna bet, and then you probably are doubling up because he's got a 10. you
Right.
know. But how much? And I'll have to be honest myself, right? Like live heads up poker, I haven't played lunch, right? So I don't think the average person has played once a year. Would you think heads up live poker from a
heads
tournament
up live
perspective?
poker. I mean, that's. I mean, I didn't play a single hand last weekend. We got down to heads up, and she looked at me and said, "You've got the chip lead. If you'll take,
Sure.
it was $300 off, you can have the win."
Sure.
So I said yes. I mean, it's.
Ye-
I don't know if I normally would have said that, but
King
it
and
was
king or
Marcy
something?
Schultz. She was a dealer. She's a dealer. It was 2 other dealers. Her husband and daughter sitting there
Sure.
wanting to go home. So it's one of those spots where it's like, yeah, I'll just be the nice guy and let everybody go home early.
Sure. Yeah. I'll have to. Going back to the Kramer table. I had to stick that one out. Nick, you had mentioned at the final table last week. His basement just does something with pictures for winning a tournament or whatever. So I needed to get my win on the wall. So.
Right on.
But otherwise, for the most part, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, some of these tournaments are lasting until midnight, 2 a.m.
That's
So late.
a couple years ago, actually. Speaking of Kramer and I in Hillsboro
Oh, that's right. Yep.
chopped a tournament. I gave him most of the money because he had the chip lead, and Steve was mad at us because Steve's like, I wanted to watch the 2 of you guys play heads up, but
Sure.
it was one of those nights where the bartenders stand there annoyed with us. You could see the dealers were barely keeping their eyes open. We got down to heads up. Steve wanted to do a quick chip count. Kramer went out to smoke, so I went out to chat with him, and we just agreed to do a modified chop there. He gave me a couple $100 off of first. He had probably a 2-1. I don't know exactly chip lead.
See,
And
that's the problem. Like with opening, right? You like open the 12K and he's giving them like 4 big blinds or 3 big blinds. It's just so many chips that you're kind of. I mean, that's like 30% increase of his stack. Yeah.
That's so. If I'm Craig, anytime he opens and doesn't jam,
Sure. That
I
makes
might
a lot of
come
sense.
right over top.
Yep. you can kind of pick that up, especially this hand right here, right?
Like, okay, you've done it once now, and it worked, right? Like you jammed over top of them.
Yeah.
It's now going to be a viable strategy.
Yeah.
And it'll be, how quick does Todd catch on to every time I open, he jams? Because he's going to fold next time, too. Next time Todd opens and Craig has a hand and jams, Todd's going to fold. And it's how quickly after that he picks up on it.
I think he had a hand that time. But yeah, just going back to the conversation, right? Like I know we're talking about, this particular spot. We see the cards, we see the chips. We can, say how we would do it, but I don't think any of us have a lot of experience heads up, tournament.
You don't get very many opportunities, right? It's, in a tournament like this, this one, okay, you only had to whittle your way. You had to get lucky in one hand. And then you had to whittle your way through 17 players. That's atypical.
Yep.
Last weekend was, I think, 56 players, something like that.
Yeah, and then the 10K seed had, 145, 150 people or for the free roll?
Yep.
To win that 10,000 seat.
Seeing that right here.
Same thing, right?
Todd
If you would've
calls with
just
2,000.
jammed.
I'm jamming every time. 100% of the time. I'm never going to get out flopped here. Or I'm never going to get for free.
Todd has a gut shots. I thought he would have bet.
Now he's opening it. Now he has to bet.
Double open-ended, right? Like, so Craig, he bet open-ended or any draws earlier, so that makes a lot of sense from him.
Complete blank.
Ooh. Very nice.
Craig with the play. See, and now, remember I talked, you could double them up earlier, and you still got the chip lead? Not anymore.
Yep.
Reminded of a line from Rounders. You keep hanging around.
Hanging around.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to let him hang around if you don't. We both know chip stacks in a game like this can be fleeting. Use it while you got it. That might make it more fleeting.
So 90, like, I don't know, what, just so 40, 46, 47 bigs, 48, I can't, 14, 46, yeah. Interesting.
Just over a min raise.
This should be more.
Should be all in right here, right? Like, are you not all in right here?
It seems like he's going to call.
He's going to raise. See, I really don't like that raise one because that puts you in a sticky spot if he jams now. Because now you might be able to talk yourself into folding.
Yeah. Yeah, benefit of playing this on a stream where you can watch back is you can just take a look. You can kind of see how things went and potential ways to improve.
That's what poker's about, is always improving, right?
And, winning a flip or two.
That's
Struggling with that sometimes.
control what you can control. You can't control what the cards come, but you can control the spots you put yourself in to an extent. Last weekend aces against jacks, I lost. We got them all in pre-flop. I can't control the outcome there, but a lot of these hands we're watching, you can control.
How it plays out. Yeah. And you're right. Like, even if you're pressing and somebody else wakes up with a hand, this shows that if you play that way, you can put yourself in a better spot.
Yep. From the first couple hands of this table, I just thought somebody with all aggression is gonna really do well here, and it just has not happened. Pocket twos. No flop is ever good for pocket twos.
Exactly. If you think it's the same thing, right? Like, they'll limp 3, they're not strong hands. So 2s are very likely in the lead. He'll probably bet here and take it down.
Yep.
He was already full. He had those cards in the muck. Like, just put the chips
he-
down and I'm throwing them.
He was folded to, I'm going to. I think even at this point, if either one of them just starts raising, I don't want to say, I don't like the word recklessly necessarily, but basically recklessly, they're going to win. Craig literally needs one double to take the chip lead. Or very close to it anyway. Maybe won't quite get it. 96. Yeah, he'd be 1,000 short. We don't get to see their hand this time, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
10 deuce, 8-6. Again, neither one of them hits the flop. I feel like they're giving free cards away every step of the way. Yep. Craig checked that his chance to win this pot away. Now he can't win it.
Playing for just shy of $700. Went a little longer than I thought. Thought once we hit this final table, once we got to like 2K blinds, it would kind of play itself out. Sort of did, but just playing a little slow. Heads up. So he's raised a king in the past in the same spot. He's called it too, though. 5K blind.
Yep, 25, 5, 2,500, 5,000. I'm never
Checking back.
I'm never limping with a king, and I'm never checking back. It doesn't matter my cards. I'm never checking back. Right there.
It's a little bit of a live tells there too.
In this tournament, they're both voluntarily putting chips in the pot 41% of the time. I feel, Josh, like you and I would both probably be higher than that percentage.
Yeah. Think you watched my free roll stint in the final 2 tables. I think my VPIP was pretty high. 60-70%.
That's. Well,
But
that takes a lot of heads up into play where,
Yeah.
like you should be, I mean, heads up you should be at 65, 70%, I would think. I don't know. I've never done the actual math on it, but
A lot of this is obviously taking into account the full final table, but you'd expect Todd being relatively high in chips for the most part. You'd see as higher at least.
and now Craig just gave him chips with the king high. A king's pretty good heads up. Any king is pretty good heads up. I mean, Queen 7 is the average starting hand, correct?
What's that? Queen 7, yeah.
Queen 7 is the median
Yep,
starting
off.
hand.
Yeah.
So if you're better than that,
It's like Ultimate Hold'em, right? Well, you don't have to be as weak as Queen 7, but you'd feel pretty confident if you have a king against a random hand,
Yep.
right?
yeah, I mean,
Same thing. Ultimate Hold'em is the table game at casinos.
Yep.
Anybody hasn't played?
Mississippi Stud would be a more preferred option as far as I'm concerned.
See, I don't know. I've never learned that game.
I think it's probably pretty similar.
Yeah.
Mississippi Stud, you start with your 2 hole cards. You have to have your bet out there. Then you can, let's see here, you can match your bet or go up to 3 times your bet to see the flop. And then the same thing on the, no, excuse me, the flop is just 1 card. For each card, you can match or raise your bet. You just get 5 cards. It's stud game, so you get 5 card stud, right?
Sure.
So then you get a second card. You can match or raise your bet up to 3 times again. So you end up with
Similar, yeah.
you end up with 3 chances to bet. Or is it?
It's true, Chuck. Yeah. 3 card. Queen 7's right in the middle. Or it qualifies, right?
Yep.
For a pay.
Yeah, it's literally your median starting hand in poker. If your head's up, that is theoretically any hand better than that, you should be ahead of your statistically you should be ahead of your opponent.
So 5K. Looks like Craig must have won that hand. Oh, I doubt he's going to fold queens. Probably just open, right?
I think he's gonna jam.
See, that's interesting, right? Like most of his weaker stuff, it's just been open.
Yep. I don't see how he had 4-3 suited.
See if he opens, right? Todd seemed to want to call that type of stuff, right?
Yep. That's
So
you haven't jammed yet, and you haven't shown down a big hand yet.
yes, Mac, we are 2028 for first, 1337 for second, roughly 700 difference here. They both achieved $1,300 on some number of $50 to $300 ish of entries.
Yep. I have no idea how many either one of these 2 guys played.
Yeah, same.
There's a raise with King 4. I like it. It's a fold with 10-5, I'm sure. Yep. And that's all you're looking to do, right? Just you want to get him whittled down to the point where he has to go all in, and then you can call him with any 2 cards.
Yep.
And it doesn't hurt you that bad.
Just went the opposite. Just let go. Instead of going down to like 25K, got him back to 45K.
Yep. As I'm just trying to get him whittled down to the point where he's forced to move all in, I can call him with any 2 cards. And then I hope I'm good. If I'm not, I'm going to try to whittle him back down. And so on and so forth. Pocket 5.
Any high cards?
2 overs, Queen 10.
I think that was a call. Yeah, which makes sense.
This hand plays as it should.
That was a lot of dots.
There's a
Ooh,
5.
but a
But a
spade.
spade. Oh, full house.
Not
The spade's no longer
anymore.
good. There's the 6.
See with the jam pre, right? Like I know you want to get the Queen 10 in there, but he'd really been jamming his strong part of his range.
And there's the epitome of why I want to get a whittle down before I have to do that. Because, now it says 88-103, so you still got a small chip lead, but you can't double them up now.
Yeah, now it's
So, we have a winner. Todd has entered the booth. I'm not going to tell you if he won or not, but we'll let him talk about this. We must probably have 4 or 5 hands left before this is over, huh? You got Jack 9 here. What you think?
Well, at this point, been playing pretty tight and just kind of
And-
seeing how things are going with them.
I don't know how much you remember. You just doubled him up last hand.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where we're at.
Yep.
Yeah, that one was a tough one to handle. So at this point, I was thinking, well, let's try and get some of this back. So started to bully a little bit again.
So you raise. Craig folds. He's had a lot of those 10-3 hands.
Tens were very popular tonight. It felt like we were seeing a lot of those come through, and it was hard not to play them.
So I don't know, 8, 10, 12 hands before this, it would obviously be many more than that for you. But there was one hand where you bet him off and he had an ace.
Okay.
And did you look at him and say, you folded an ace kind of questioningly?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. We can't hear you, but I thought I thought my lip reading led me to that.
Yeah, he verbalized it.
And I thought that was a very, the way you said it looked like, oh, holy crap, you folded that. Like, I think it was a very nice play, very nice non-poker play by you. Queen 9, is this the exciting hand? This one kind of exciting or not? Kinda.
No, this one's not so exciting.
So how many times have you been at a final table like this?
This was actually my first live final table.
Okay. So when you watch this back, keep in mind we have to have stuff to talk about. So we comment
Yeah,
on your
sure.
hand. I think you'll learn something. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to watch. My guess would have been that you didn't have a ton of experience because I think we both thought you left some opportunities on the table, which we all do. I mean, that's why I asked the question of if it was your first time. I'm not personally familiar with you.
No, I think
So-
that's a very very fair statement. Obviously, being a larger chip stack, I probably could have been a lot more aggressive. I'm guessing that's what you're saying when
It's-
I left
yep,
some
that's-
activities out there.
Like I said, when you watch this back, I think you're just gonna be like, watch it back a time or two, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I could have probably bullied out a little bit more.
Yeah,
You're-
generally speaking, that's not.
It looks like now you got about 100 and a quarter to his 66, so you're definitely. I mean, you like you said, you want to take some chips back. You obviously have done this at this point. We don't have either hole card this time. They should pop up in just a second, I think. Hopefully. There they come. You've got ace king. You raise. Craig comes along with ace 6. I think I know what happens if this is an ace on the flop, but that's a whole bunch of 5s.
Yeah, this was actually as this one plays out a little bit of a tired play on my part.
He
You're gonna-
bets 12. You call. There's a queen. Not the card you're hoping for. Check, check. There's a jack.
Yeah, so now you know you got the,
So now he checked to you.
and I just checked it down.
You know what? I don't mind your check there. You've got pretty good show. You got pretty good equity. That's not what I'm going to criticize. That's even if you weren't sitting here, I don't think I'd criticize you on that one because you got great showdown equity. That's. I mean, yeah, I think you could have maybe pushed him off and not let him give him 2 free cards, but. That when I'm looking at the cards face up, that's easy to say too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
easy for me to sit here and say that stuff when the cards are face up. So where are you from?
I live in Fargo now.
Okay.
Yep, been down here for quite a few years, and started playing some of these tournaments last year.
Okay. I'm at a lot of them, certainly not all of them. Oh, hey. Craig picks up ace queen.
Yeah, I think this is the. If I'm not mistaken, this should be the final hand.
Okay. He's going to raise, I would hope.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Oh, so it's not the final hand. He raises, you pick up 10-8. Do you call here?
Well, this is as we were talking about, all the tens have been coming this night, and so it's one of those things where I sat and I thought, and I went, no, let's just give it a shot here and see what we can do.
He's going to let you see a flop for that much money. I don't mind coming along. Ace queen on the flop. He hits 2 pair. If you check, he should check behind. He does. Another 3. Not the card he wanted to see. You're going to bet at it. He's all in. You got a ponderer. Wisely get away from it. See, I don't mind your bet there.
Yeah, when he checked there, obviously he could have something, or he could just be waiting.
That's. I mean, when he flops 2 pair there, I don't think he can bet. He pretty much has to check to you, right?
Right. Yeah, he's
Right there.
hoping I'm coming around with something and gonna lead out.
There you see, that's the whole final table. You're at 48% aggression. He's at 40, or excuse me, you're at
42,
42.
yeah.
He was at 48.
And obviously, being the bigger chip stack, I should have been more aggressive at that point.
That's, you can certainly make that argument.
But it was a lot of fun playing with him. You can see we have a lot of just good conversation going back and forth here, and yet again, more tens.
Maybe again.
So now you've got A7. No, excuse me. He's got A7. You've got 10-6. He raises. You fold. A lot of this is fairly standard. There's a stretch there where neither one of you picks up a real legitimate good hand. And I think whoever, if either one of you had decided you were just going to run the table over, you could have right there. It's just neither one of you decided.
Yeah, it did feel like we were going some pretty long stretches without even getting, even to flops and of anything that was really, significant. I don't think there was any real 3-bets going on when it was heads up.
I don't know that we've seen a single 3-bet this whole table, actually. Pretty rare if we did. I guess 1 or 2 earlier. You pick up, or he picks up ace king.
And this is where I come up with a king, queen, hearts.
Okay. That's not a hand you're going to get away from in this spot. You go all in. He calls. You've got about, so you're sitting about 38K if you lose this. You flop a couple queens. You're trying to avoid the jack. Just got to avoid a jack. That is not a jack. Congratulations, sir.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Nicely done.
Obviously, when we flipped him up, it wasn't exactly what I wanted to be staring into, but after the flop, it felt pretty good other than fading that jack. Obviously, we were talking about that the whole time as she was dealing out the rest of the cards, and it was fun. Steve does a nice job putting this on, and our final table was a pretty good time, I think.
It looked like it was a lot of fun. So how many the flipping goes did you have to play?
I got in on my second. I did play 2 more just to see if I got a double stack in. I never did. So
It seems like a lot of us decided to try for that double stack, and only 2 of us actually got one. But
yeah, that was kind of surprising to me a little bit. But it was a fun little, just kind of a random thing, right?
I didn't, and I talk to Steve daily. I work a little bit with the league and stuff. We chatted a lot about this, and we talked about, was it going to work? Was it going to, anytime you run something different, you're worried it's going to flop, right?
Yeah.
This was so much more fun. I showed up tonight, and it was a party atmosphere.
It really was.
It was, it was just so much fun.
Yeah, everybody, even if you weren't playing the actual round, everyone was huddled around those tables.
Honestly, I think the guys, the tables are 3 deep. I think the guys around them were having more fun. The only thing I compare it to is when you watch a movie and you see old movies where they have cockfighting, where they have 2 roosters in there, and you see the guys
betting,
climbing over each other and bet. Like, that's the atmosphere. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, and I think doing something like this, on a random occasion, you're not going to obviously want to run a flip and go on a real regular basis, but
No, it'll be a 2, 3, maybe 4 times a year type of thing. But
now with the World Series picking this up as kind of getting it going too, it's an interesting one.
we had 190 entries. Let's see, you're at $50 a piece.
Yeah,
Let's see here.
$19,500 up top.
We raised
or total.
we raised $1,900 for a charity tonight.
Yeah, on a Friday night tournament.
Yeah, it's $1,900 for a charity. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really
And
is.
at the basis of it, that's what we're doing this all for, right? Is to raise money for a charity.
Yeah, and that's what I think is really neat about this league is how much you guys go around and get so many different charities involved too. It's not just the same one every single
No,
time. by
it's
any means.
each charity can only run 2 a year. We're working with as many of them as we can. We're always looking for more. But it's just a lot of fun. We get guys I've known for years. I know through poker. It's just a cool environment, and I'm glad you won. It's like I said, congratulations. It's just a lot of fun. Hopefully, we'll see out a lot more of these.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a great time.
You had a great cheering section. There was a lot of guys.
Oh, good. I'll have to definitely check that out.
You'll be able to go back and I mean it's on YouTube,
Yep.
stuff like that, Facebook. You'll be able to find it. So go back and watch it.
Yeah, these live streams are really cool that you guys. I mean,
It's-
that we are getting up here in North Dakota, and being able to do the charitable tournaments is awesome since we don't have poker real accessible anywhere else.
Right. It's I mean Canterbury or Running Ace is 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Deadwood 12 hours away or whatever it is. But that's running these tournaments. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun doing it. And obviously, I mean, there's a lot of us you see at every one of these. So with that, I'll probably sign us off. Again, congratulations and
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate
thanks
it.
for coming back and having a chat with me.
Yeah, let's have a good rest of the weekend.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later.